So, what is the equation of a circle? Let's say we have a circle like this. That should be, let's say this is the circle. And assuming that it is on the Cartesian plane, and let's say it is having the center and being given us, let's say, at the center with coordinates given as h, k. Now this is the x coordinate, and this is the y coordinate, and at the center there. And let's say along the circumference of the circle, we have a point, let's say given as a point P. And the point consists with the coordinates given as x as well as the y in that way. Now let's think of connecting the point as well, actually the center as well as the point on the circumference of the circle. Let's say given as this. Now according to the properties of a circle, you have to understand that the line from the center towards to any point within the circumference of the circle, it is given as the radius. So hence, if this is the center, let's say given as O, and if this is the point P, it means the line OP is said to be the radius of the circle. So now, using the distance formula, what is the radius of a circle? And of course, using the distance formula, I'll have it as a radius is equal to the square of, now should be x2 minus x1, the power 2, and half plus should be y2, and the minus, and that should be y1 to the power 2. That's the distance formula. Now let's think of substituting what you have there, which means we have radius being given as, now the square of, now should be, what is the x2? We'll have it as the x minus, what is the x1? We'll have it as h, the power 2 plus, and we'll have y minus k in that way. Now, let's say y as well as x are the variables. Now it means if this is the case, then you have to understand that h as well as the k, those are the actual coordinates at the center. Now in this case, this is what you call the equation of a circle, or else can also be given this nature as well. Can be given as r square is equal to x minus h to the power 2 plus a y minus k to the power 2. So this is what you call the equation of a circle. So now, which means if we have the center coordinates as well as in that of the radius, can be able to have the equation of a circle using that formula. So now you know what is that. Now what is the equation of a circle with the following given information? Let's say we have a circle with should be radius given as, let's say 5, and the center coordinates are given as h2, let's say 10. So what is the equation of this circle? In this case, we have h being given as 2, and we have k that will be given as 10. So what is the formula for the equation of a circle? We have it as r square is equal to x minus h square, and plus there should be y minus k square. We'll have that and as that. So which is the same as having it as a 5 to the power 2, which is equal to x minus, now should be 2 square plus y minus 10 to the power 2, which means we'll have it as 25 is equal to the x minus 2 and plus y minus 2 square. So this is the equation of a circle of that interest. So you can have it in that way. And what if we have this case? Let's say we have a center given as 4, and the center actually should be radius given as 4, and the center coordinates given as, let's say, as the -2 as well as the -5/2. So what is the equation of this circle? Now principle remains the same. We have h which is given as the -2, Now we have the k, which is giving us -5/2. So that is, so what is the formula? Have r squared is equal, now should be x minus h a square plus a y minus k, that should be square. And that will be giving us 16 is equal, now x, and the minus 2 square and plus y minus 5/2, and that in the square. So which means we'll have 16 is equal, should be x plus 2 to the power 2, and that plus y plus 5/2 in that case. Now this is the equation of a circle you have to understand, giving the radius as well as the center in that way. Now the point of interest, you should have to know that, let's say if we have the equation of a circle given us, let's say that should be 9 is equal to x plus, let's say 4 square plus, let's say y plus 2. What is the center of actually this, actually a circle? So now, since the formula, so what is the center of this circle? Now let me start with the radius. Now as it stands here, it means the radius will be given as the square root of 9. That will be given as, and that should be 3. That is the radius. And how about the center of this circle? So if you can recall, the formula tells us that it should have a negative here, but instead we have the positive. It means this 4 is negative, in this y actually 2 is given as the negative. So in that case we'll have a center being given as -4, -2. So take note of that. Now what if we have this case, let's say have it in this way, we have it as, let's say, a 12, which is given as now x plus half the power 2, and that should be a plus y plus 5 1/2, and at the power 2 in that case. So what is the radius of this set? We'll have it as the square root of, that should be 12, of which that is the same as now 2 square root of 3. Of course, upon simplifying using the SATs. And mind you, the radius is given in actually units, should be that. That's the basic unit for actual radius on the circle. Should be a distance on the Cartesian plane, should be that. And bear that in mind. What is the center? I'll have it as now -1/2, and comma. What is this value? It means we'll have it as 2 times 5 plus 1, we'll have it as 11/2. So it means that particular value is given as the -11/2. So have that and as that. That's the center. So now you know what is happening there, I guess. Now let's say we have a circle given as this. And let's say the circle is having the diameter that is being given in this nature. Let's say this is the diameter of the circle. Should be, what's going on there? It should be this. Let's say this is the diameter of the circle. And mind you, diameter is the line. The diameter is the line that connects the two sides of the circle and passes through the center. So let's say this is the center of the circle. Now let's say this is the point A and this is the point B. And say we have 5,2, and here let's say we have a 10, let's say, 7. Now if we have the endpoints of the diameter, what is the equation of the circle? So mind you, we just need the radius as well as the center coordinates, and at first you have the equation of a circle. That's what we need. So now since we have a diameter here, we should have to calculate the center of the circle first. What is the center? We use the midpoint formula. You have the center of the line BA in that way. So that center itself will have the center, will have the coordinates at the actual center of the circle. Will have H as well as the K. Now upon having the center of the circle, you'll be able to have the radius upon having the distance formula from the center to either side, either B to the center or the center to A. In that case, you have the radius as well as the center coordinates. You'll be able to have the equation of a circle in that case. So try to have that problem out the way I've explained here. And also, what if we have a circle with the endpoints of the diameter given as 0, 2, and let's say 2 should be -2, 5. So what is the center of that circle? Should be what is the radius, should be what is the diameter, no, should be what is the equation of that circle. And what if you have, let's say, 11/5, 2, and now we have it, in this case, let's say -1, let's say 10, it should be -10. So what is the equation of that circle? So try to have that one out in that case, the way I've explained here. So now, there's something to have to understand about the equation of a circle. And what is that? Let's consider it in this case. Let's say we have a circle with radius given as, let's say, 3. And we are having the center given as, let's say, 2, let's say 5. And what is the equation of this circle? Now have it as r squared is equal to x minus h squared and plus y minus, let's say, k squared. Let's say that's the case. So which means we have this one as the 9 and the x minus h. What is the h? We have it as a 3. So have the part 2 in plus y, let's say. So what is the h? We have it as a positive 2, not -3. Should be, we'll have it as 2. The part 2 in the plus y minus, should be 5 to the part 2. And of course, this is the equation of a circle. Now let's think of simplifying this one further, and in its simplest form. As far as the algebra is concerned, now have x minus 2 times x minus 2. What would be that one? Let's think of expanding. We'll have it as x squared, and that should be minus 2x. We'll have it as minus 4x, and that plus 4. So we'll have that and as that upon expanding that one out. And also let's do the same with the other part. If I'll have to expand, let's say 5 minus y, y minus 5 times y minus 5. So which means we'll have it as y squared minus 10y and that plus 25. We'll have that and as that. Now let's think of substituting those into the function, into the equation rather. And that will have it as, now we'll have it as 9 is equal to x squared minus 4x plus 4. And I'll have it as a plus, should be y squared minus 10y and that plus 25. So that is. And keep in mind that this is the radius and this is the center, because we can go back to that one. And you should have to know like that. So now in this case, let's think of having the like terms. In this case, we'll have x squared and then minus 4x, and I'll have y squared minus 10y and that of plus 29, which is equal to 9. And you should have to bring this 9 to this side. That will be given us now x squared minus 4x plus 9y plus 10y, and we should have it as a plus 20, which is equal to 0. And of course, if we should be much realistic, we should have to express those with the highest degree power. We should have to have them together. So have it as x squared and plus y squared minus 4x minus 10y plus 20, which is equal to 0. So now this is also another presentation of the equation of a circle, which means this equation of a circle can also be presented in this nature. So now, much as we are able to have the radius as well as the center given this case of the actual equation of a circle. Now, being that the equation has been expressed into this case, how can he be able to determine the center as well as the radius if the equation has been given this nature? So that's the point of interest. Given this case of the equation of a circle, how can he be able to determine the center as well as the radius of that actually a particular circle? So that's the point of interest in this part of the lesson. So let's see how can be able to deduce that if that's the case. Now I would like to get back to have the radius given as 3 and the center given as that, and from the equation that we have, which is in this nature. So now what is the principle behind? So now first thing, we should have to transfer whichever the constant value to the other side. So we only have 20, which is the constant here, so I have to transfer that to the other side, and at the same time we have two families here. We have the x family as well as the y family, so bring those families together. We'll have xy minus 4x, and that is the family, and we have plus y squared minus 10y, that is the family, and which is equal to, now have it as negative 10, actually should be negative 20. So we'll have that and as that. The next, looking at the families that we have, should be x family as well as the y family. And let's try to record to what we discussed about the actually should be what we discussed about the computing square of the quadratic expressions. So you have to record that one. Let's go back to the general form of the quadratic expression. We have it as ax squared and plus bx and plus c. And this is a constant a, b as well as the c. That much we discussed. And we discussed about one of the ways in which you can be able to solve the quadratic equation, and that is what you call the computing square method. Now, looking at the actual nature of our actual families, if we tend to compare with this one, they're incomplete. What we are looking there is the value of the constant, which is c. So how can we be able to have the value of c? At the same time, we should have to express the actually quadratic expressions as the perfect squares. So if you can recall the way we discussed about the value that must be added to make the expression to be a perfect square, you can clearly remember these things. So what is the value that is missing in these families is the constant value, which is the value of c. So let's indicate that the c is missing, so have it as x squared minus 4x and the plus c1. So have plus, no, should be that, plus y squared minus 10y and plus c2. That will be equal to negative 20. Now a plus is c1 plus c2. Upon having the value of the c's in these actual families, those values should also be introduced in this side. So take note of that. So now, how should you be able to have the value of these actual c's? So here is the formula, which says that it should be given as a c is given as a b over 2 and over the power 2. This is what we discussed about. So let's start with the value of c1. What is the value of b in this nature? We have it as a negative 4 over 2 and over the power 2. That will be given as 4 as well. And how about the value of c2? We'll have it as a negative 10 over 2 over the power 2. And that will be given as, now we should have it as a 25. So that is the value of c2 in that case. So which means we have the c1 given as 4 and the c2 is given as 25. So now we just have to substitute those in actually in this case. So now which means we'll have it as x squared minus 4x plus 4 in the times. Now should be plus, let's say y square minus 10y and plus 25. Like that, which is equal to negative 20 plus 4 plus 25. So let's think of eliminating the middle terms in each family. And the sign for the middle terms should be given to the new value of c's in the side. So now, which means we'll have it as x squared and then minus 4. You should have to remember about the way we discussed about solving quadratic should be equations using the complete square method. We discussed about all these. Try to go through that one in case you missed that one. So have plus a y square minus 25. And it should be that, which is equal to, now have negative a 20 and plus 25. We'll have it as a 5 plus 4, we'll have it as a 9. So that is, so you should have to understand that one in that way. And the rest, think of expressing actually a negative 4 as well as 25. Now to have the power of 2. Now have it as x squared minus 2 to the power 2. That should be that plus y squared minus 5 to the power 2, which is equal to 9. So now this is the same as x minus 2 to the power 2 and the plus y minus 5 to the power 2, which is equal to 9. So now the point that we are, what is the center of the circle? So now you can see that the center will be given us, now the radius will be given as a square root of 9, which is equal to 3, as we have it here. And the center will be given as the positive 2 as well as the positive 5, as we have it here. So that's all you have to understand that one. Now, which means given the equation of a circle in that nature, you can be able to deduce the center as well as the radius using that principle we have talked about here. And say we have, let's say this case, let's say we have, now should be this kind of a case, let's say we have 3x squared. Now let's start with this one first. Let's say we have x squared and plus y squared. And let's say plus 8x and minus 6y, which is equal to negative 24. So now, what is the equation? Let's say this is the equation of a circle. What is the center as well as the radius of this circle, if this is the case? So now, principle remains the same. If we have any sort of, if we have anything to do with a constant value, that has to be transferred to the other side. So of which it is already, which is fine. The next, bring those families together. We have x family as well as the y families. In that case, we have x squared and plus 8x plus 8x. That is the family, the plus y squared minus 6y. That is the family, which is equal to negative 24. Then I'll have to complete the squares of the families, in the sense that we have to have the value of c's. X squared plus 8x plus c1 and the plus y squared minus 6y plus c2, which is equal to negative 24 plus c1 plus c2. So take note of that. Let me just have to properly orient this one. That's now, which means we'll have it in this case. You know, sometimes my handwriting is very, very bad. So negative 24 plus c1 plus c2. Now you can see what is happening there. So these are the families that we're dealing with. So there's the family for Mr. Mbewe, Mr. P, like some stuffs. So in this case, the value of B is given as 8. Here is given as the negative 6. So now we'll have, and mind you, ensure that the coefficients of x squared as well as the y squared is given as 1. We're going to see some case where the coefficient is no longer actually 1. We'll see how best we have to go over that one. But now take note of that. So have C1 being given as 8 over 2 and over the part 2. That will be given as 16. And C2 will be given as now negative 6 over 2. That will be given as the 9. So that's the solution for that case. So have 16 as well as the 9. Then you have to substitute those values. And now I have to say that we'll have it as x squared, the plus 8x plus 16, the plus y squared minus 6y, and that plus should be a 9, that which is equal to negative 24 plus 16, and that plus 9. So these are the formulas you have to understand the way we are analyzing the cases here. So we have to eliminate the middle terms and taking their signs to be that for actually 16 as well as the 9. So what is that one? So now it means we'll have it in this case. We'll have x squared plus 4 to the power 2. In the plus a y squared minus a 3 to the power 2. So which is equal to now have negative 24 plus 16 plus 9. And we'll have that as being given as, that should be 25. So we'll have that as the 25. 25 plus negative 24, now we'll have it as a positive 1. So that's the essence behind. Now have x plus 2 should be x plus 4 to the power 2. We'll have y minus 3 to the power 2, which is equal to 1. So which means the radius is given as the square root of 1, which is equal to 1. The center is given as now should be negative 4 comma positive 3. So that is how you have to understand that and up to in that case. And what if we have this case now? Let's say we have should be 4x squared and minus 4x, and we have 4y squared, and that should be minus 63, and which is equal to 0. Let's say that's the case. Just now, first thing you can see that x squared as well as the y squared, they are having the coefficient which is other than 1. So first thing you have to make sure that the coefficients are no longer the ones other than 1. So we'll have to divide everything by 4. And mind you, if that's the case, then the coefficients has to be the same. So we have to divide everything by 4. So which means we'll have it as x squared minus x and plus y squared minus 63. Should be, what is the 63 over 4? So have it as the same 63 over 4, which is equal to 0. So now we'll have that one. So now I have to transfer this one now for that actually a part. Then I bring those actual families together, and also at the same time ensure that the constant has to be brought this side. So now which means we'll have x squared minus x like that, and I'll have y squared. So you can see that the y is not having a such actually its friend, and what is lacking is the value of the actually a by. That's what is lacking there at first. So you have to include that as a 0. So have it as a plus 0. Now should have it as now we should have it as plus 0y, and that should be that. That which is equal to positive 63 over 4. So it should be that. So now which means we'll have x squared minus x and the plus c1 like that, and the plus y squared minus so should be plus zy plus c2 like that, and which is equal to plus 63 over 4 plus c1 plus c2. Yes, now which means we'll have in this case, what is the c1? So now c1 will be given as, now we'll have a negative 1 over 2 and over the bar 2. That will be given as 1 over 4. And what is the c2? We'll have it as 0 over 2 and over the bar 2. That will be given as, now should be 0. So now we have 1 over 4 as well as the 0. So just have to substitute those values. So now have it as x squared minus x plus 1 over 4. And that should be that. And plus y squared plus zy plus 0. And which is equal to, so have 63 over 4 plus 1 over 4 and plus 0. So in this case we'll have x squared and minus 1 over 2, and that should be the bar 2 into the bar 2. So that is, so have it as a plus y squared plus 0 to the bar 2. That is that, which is equal to 63 over 4. No, should have added those. So in this case, we'll have it in this way. So have it as 64 simply over 4. So now have it as x plus 1 over 2 to the bar 2 and plus y plus, actually it should be y plus 0 to the bar 2, which is equal to 64 over, it should be now 4. What is the center as well as the radius of this shape? So now the center will be given as, so now the radius will be given as the square root of 64 over 4, which is the same as 8 over 2. So should be that. And of course that is the same as having as, that should be, so what is that? We'll have it as a 4. So that is the radius. What is the center? So have it as negative half, 0. So take note of that. And at one time try to have these problems out, to have the center as well as the radius of the circle. If that's the case, let's say have, should be x squared and minus, let's say 6 over 5y and plus y squared minus, let's say 7, should be minus 2 is equal to 7. So try to have the center as the radius of that shape. Let's say have y squared minus, let's say should be 12 over, should be 7 x and minus, let's say 13 over 4 y and plus should be x squared and minus 1, which is equal to 5. So try that one out. Let's say we have x squared plus y squared is equal to, let's say, negative 4. Let's say plus 2 here. What is the center in the equation? Actually the center as well as the radius of that shape. So try to have that one out on your own. So that is and also try this one as well. Let's say we have this case, we have 9 over 2 y squared plus 9 over 2, that should be x squared minus, let's say 4x and that plus, let's say save actually 4, which is equal to negative 12. So what is the center as well as the radius of that shape? So try that one out. Now sometimes we can also have this case. Let's say have the equation of a circle. And let's say given as, let's say, x squared minus x plus y squared plus, let's say, fy, which is equal to 5. Or else we should have it and I should have it in that case. How can you show away that the point given as, let's say, 0, 2, it is within the circle or not? So mind you, this is x, this is the y. So we should just have to substitute that one. So have 0 to the power 2 minus 0 and plus 2 to the power 2 plus 4 times 2, which is equal to 5. So now have it as 4 plus 4, so should be 8, which is not equal to 5. So since this is not true, then it means they're saying actually the point is not within the circle. Since the right hand side is not equal to the left hand side, so it means the point is not within the circle. So just have to go through. We have a lot of examples or the exercises to do with this kind of a case. So try to go through those cases. So thank you.